All right, in the last video we talked about systems of equations with straightforward elimination. So meaning you had coefficients that were very easily add or subtractable between the two equations in order to eliminate a variable. Now we're going to talk about systems of equations using elimination, but before we get started on this, or before we can eliminate a variable, we have to do a little bit of manipulation. What I mean by that is, let's take this example. Let's take 3x minus 7y equals 6, and negative 5x plus 4y equals negative 10. Okay? So we want to solve this system of equations. So first of all, we're going to look at it and we're going to say, okay, can we use substitution? Is there a variable that we could solve for easily? Well, not really. There's no variable by itself. All of them have some coefficient other than 1 or negative 1 in front of them. So we can't use substitution on it. And we could, but we'd end up with fractions. And it'd be fine, we could do that, but we're not going to. All right, well, can we use elimination? Well, can we add or subtract? Well, negative 3 plus negative 5, that's not 0. Negative 3 minus negative 5, that's also not 0. So there's no way right now in its current condition for us to add or subtract for this to eliminate a variable. However, we can do a little bit of manipulation on it. So we can manipulate these equations such that we can get one of these coefficients to match. So at this point, let's see, looking at 3 and 5. 3 can't go into 5, so we'd have to multiply both equations by something. What about 4? Can 4 go into 7? No. So we'd have to multiply both equations by something. So now, pick your favorite variable, and we'll work on eliminating it. So I'm going to use x. So 3 and 5. All right, so I need a number that they can match up on, or basically what I'm looking for is a common multiple between 3 and 5. The common multiple that sticks out in my head between 3 and 5 is 15. So I want to multiply this top equation to make this a 15x, and I want to multiply this bottom equation by something to make this a 15x, or a negative 15x. So I'm going to multiply the top equation by 5, and I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 3. So when we do that, our top equation is going to become 15x minus 35y equals 30. And our bottom equation is going to become negative 15x plus 12y equals negative 30. Okay, so now can I add or subtract these equations to eliminate a variable? Well, yes, I can. I can add the two equations. 15 plus negative 15, that would go to 0. So I'm going to add the two equations. So my 15 plus negative 15, we said that goes to 0, so that goes away. So I'm just going to cross it out. Then I have negative 35 plus 12. Well, that's negative 23y equals 30 plus negative 30, 0. Divide both sides by negative 23, I get y equals 0. Cool. All right, so y equals 0. So now I have y. Alrighty, so now we need to solve for x. So I'm going to take y equals 0 and plug it back into one of the original equations. I'm going to use the top one, so I'll do 3x minus 7 times 0 equals 6. I'm going to 3x equals 6, x equals 2. And I would get my solution to be 2, 0. And of course, we can always check this by plugging it back into the two equations to make sure that it checks out. All right, so sometimes we have to manipulate the equations a little bit. So I'm going to do another example. So let's say we were given the equations 9x minus 5y equals negative 21, and we have negative 3x plus 8y equals negative 12. All right, right off the bat, I can't eliminate anything, but 3 does go into 9 3 times. So I can multiply this bottom equation by 3, and I would get negative 9x plus 24y equals negative 36. And the top equation would stay the same, 9x minus 5y equals negative 21. Now are we going to add or subtract the two equations? Well, 9 plus negative 9 would equal 0, so we're going to add them. We get negative 5 plus 24, that's 19. Negative 21 plus negative 36, that is negative 57. Divide both sides by 19, I get y equals negative 3. And then, of course, take this y, plug it back into one of your originals. So I'm going to use the bottom equation. Negative 3x plus 8 times negative 23 equals negative 12. I'm going to solve this down. Negative 3x minus 24, negative 12. Add both sides. Add 24 to both sides. I get negative 3x equals 12. Divide by negative 3 at x equals negative 4. My answer being negative 4 comma negative 3. Again, just manipulate your equations a little bit such that you can add or subtract them in order to eliminate a variable, solve for the variable, and then go put it back into one of your original to solve for the other variable.